Torch and the Clobber in Time team up going through Flying in the Sky. The only downside of that team up is the Human Torch is very susceptible to Moon Knight. If the Moon Knight can hit that thing, the bounces off with the autos, kills the very squishy, very damage-oriented Human Torch very quickly.
And it'll be interesting to see kind of how this will all pan out together. We do see the Emma Frost protect, so it does look like they're not looking to make things. It doesn't look like they're looking to lean too heavily on that team up. But with the Loki band coming out on the side of Underworld, it is pretty possible that that team up might actually be a thorn in the side to have to think about. The final protect is going to come through onto the Magneto, and now we will see the first picks come through as the last ban is going to come through as well for her champion. It is going to be Wolverine getting banned out. Some interesting picks and bans here. We'll see how these comps are going to build up here as players start to lock in.
Yes, sir, we do. Now, looking at these picks and bans, we do see something very differences in them. We do see a lot more of the healer and just everything, honestly, being banned out from the one side. You do see the BP, you see the Hulk, very dive-oriented characters, as well as that Loki ban out, just because nobody wants to deal with the full immunity of a Loki-Luna ult combo. And then you do see the Human Torch as well as the Emma ban on the side of the Her Champion, just to make sure that they can have those characters and just not let Underworld be able to even think about running it.
Yeah, absolutely. And now as we see the teams locking in, we do have one more player that hasn't quite picked their character yet, but that's okay. I'm sure they'll pick something out once they get it here. I like on the side of Her Champion, Iron Man getting picked up by Beery. That was something that we didn't see too much on the side in the last match. We saw Iron Man come out in a very brief period of time at the end of map number 1, and now we get to see Iron Man make a little bit more of a standing here as we get loaded into it. I'm excited to see what Iron Man is able to do. I think he's one of the stronger flyers out there, and honestly just overall one of the better DPSs that have been picked out. So now the mission area will be unlocked in 20 seconds. Teams are going to start moving, and it does look like the Mystic Portal is going to come out for an early flank here for Her Champion, and it does look like Underworld was not ready for it. Beautiful portal happens, and that's Underworld getting picked apart right off the bat. 5 members dead, make it a team wipe, and Her Champion, they're going to start off hot, and get early control.
Yes, sir. That is a very strong play coming out of the side of Her Champion. Just throwing that portal in between and just around the Underworld players, catching them off guard and just being able to kind of do a lot of damage at one single moment and just catching them with their, honestly, their pants down, not realizing what was going on before it was too late.
And that certainly can spell disaster, especially as another fight comes through. That's going to be another early kill there for Her Champion, and it is going to be a lot of strength here as 4 more members of Underworld are going to go down. The synergy from Her Champion is just coordinating really, really well, and they are going to continue to dominate here as they approach 30%.
Yes, sir, that is true. Honestly, you just see the combination of this Venom dive with the extra damage from this Iron Man from the outside. We do see a different movement from the side of Underworld, taking a different path, hoping to just find a different way to get around into this point. But sadly, I don't think much is going to change, especially if nothing can get rid of this Iron Man, just letting him do really whatever he wants to do.
And that Iron Man being free is going to be dangerous, especially as now they've got 3 ultimates available. Maximum Pulse is going to go out and find 3. Devastation strikes the Underworld, and Her Champion just absolutely blow up their opponents, and they continue to show their strength. 70% Underworld have yet to find any sort of entrance in. Star-Lord does get the ultimate, but Fallen, unfortunately, will make his name a reality here as he falls and is sent back to his spawn point. The rest of Underworld are going to try and make a miracle happen, but it's just going to be elimination after elimination. coordination, and round number 1 might go very, very quick here, as this is going to be an absolute devastation. The Luna Snow ult is going to come out, doesn't find anything just yet. More ultimates to be traded away. It is 2 members of her champion get taken down, so this could possibly be a moment here. Falling does get taken down once again. Jeb is going to go down. No, sorry, Jeb does not go down. I was getting all twisted and everywhere, but that's okay. Overtime is going to come through. A lot of damage comes through from the Iron Man. That's going to be another kill. Once again, Underworld get taken down, and they get absolutely shredded away as the overtime timer ticks down. Her champion get a nice early round 1 victory.
Now, we do see 2 different types of comps on the side of her champion and Underworld. We do see your classic 2-2-2 orientation on the side of your Underworld, which doesn't seem to be working out too well, especially against this triple support on the side of her champion with this Iron Man solo damage, even though you have your Adam, who is a conventional healer, quote unquote, because a lot of his kit does a lot more damage than just healing. And then you have the Jeff and the Luna Snow on the side, just to keep everybody alive while consistently doing damage to the enemy team. We did see a little bit of life out of Inspector Wolf on this thing, getting 2 picks with his ult. Sadly, the Adam Warlock on the side of her champion were able to bring them back to life and just retake this point.
And that strength just came through from her champion. You know, we talked about it. Their synergy was really just being shown in the best way possible in that first round. And now as they get ready to go into the second round, we are seeing pretty much the same composition come out from her champion, and they're still looking just as strong. And now the same composition from Underworld will be sitting as well. And it does look like we are going to be seeing another Doctor Strange portal play happen. And will Underworld see this one? Does not look like they're going to go for the early fight. Instead, they're just going to jump right away onto the point. Shots are going to be found, and still Underworld, they don't know where they are. They don't even realize that they've jumped onto it. I think they finally have caught wind as strength comes through, and this is where the fight will break out. Abilities are being thrown back and forth, but nobody is going down just yet. The pokes happen. The first ultimate is going to come through as Underworld is going to be the first one to strike. That is going to be the Iron Man ult getting burned out to no avail. Nobody to be seen just yet, but that is 2 kills for her champion. Some more strength coming through, but Underworld are able to get onto the point at least a little bit. The contest is going to be coming through for the rest of her champion. They continue to fight this one out. Underworld are sent packing for the hills, and her champion get early control once again.
Now, a very beautiful ult coming out from the Iron Man, just able to take out that hella ult that was very holding rain in the sky. And just kind of being able to control out of the point, taking that out really helps his team go forward without having to waste a single support ult because of how fast he's building these Iron Man ults. Now, it does look like we have a little like discombobulation on the side of the Underworld, just not really being able to coordinate as this Venom goes in the backline, taking out 2. Will it be 3? It will, in fact, as well as Adam and just the rest of her champion cleaning up. It looks like we're going to see another 3-0 going through on the side of her champion to Underworld if the Underworld just can't seem to figure out anything to come and take back this point.
And this is just a absolutely dominant performance out of her champion. The coordination all over the place is showing up so strong. And Underworld, in the meantime, just have yet to find a way to get onto the point. They are continuing to get pushed farther and farther back. The Eye of Agamotto will be spotted. That's going to be a dangerous ult. Luna Snow does manage to counter with the ult of their own. Jeb is going to be picking up the opponents and the allies. Is going to throw a couple members back into the fight. Separating the tank and the Luna Snow is going to be sent really, really far back. The Bucky ult doesn't find a lot, but it doesn't matter anyways because her champion have a dominant map number 1.
That is very true. It honestly just looks like her champion is just able to be a lot more coordinated, able to kind of work together behind this Venom's dives and just the amount of damage that they're able to output on this Adam backline. And we did see a little bit of a change coming through, especially running this Iron Man who's just non-stop dealing so much damage, whether it be with his left click or his beam on his right click, just mowing down tanks, supports, and the DPS on the enemy team. Now, we did look at stats here. We do see a big difference when it comes to the sides of your DPS on the Beery in that Iron Man versus the Magic and Bucky on the side of the Underworld. What do you think Underworld might need to change here going forward, whether it be picks, whether it be bans, or just play styles in itself that they could change to kind of bring this train back toward their station?
The biggest thing that I'm looking at for this team is I'm looking at mainly the biggest thing that I want to see out of them is a plan. The one thing that I don't think that they really had the best going forward is it didn't really seem like they had any ways that they knew how to coordinate with each other to make something happen across the map. And it ended up making what they were trying to do a lot more difficult. Now, one of the things that I would also really think that they need to do is they got to get that Iron Man away from Beery. That thing was absolutely disgusting. It did not matter what the rest of Underworld were trying to do on the map. Beery was just all over it and did so much damage all over the map and was just the biggest thorn in the side. Heck, I wouldn't even call it a thorn. I just call it a big wooden stake was driven right through the heart of Underworld, and it came straight from Beery's Iron Man.
That is very true. That Iron Man just allowing them to maintain control of the entire point and just the map itself, not allowing anybody to do anything that they want. We did see some live here and there on the tank side, but I do think that if anything is going to change, you need to take out Beery itself. Just get him off of whatever comfort picks he needs to be on. Maybe throw him on support. Just try to do something and just make sure he can't enjoy and play the game all that he wants to be able to control these maps.
Any sign of life for Underworld will be amazing, but only time will tell as Underworld continues to develop their team into what we will see at the end of the season, where we're going to go to a brief intermission. And here we are back to it with map number 2 between Her Champion versus Underworld. Her Champion came off of a very, very dominant first matchup. And now as we get into the draft here, let's see if Underworld can make the changes necessary to keep themselves alive. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zojalyx. Austin, here we go. Walk us through the draft. What do we expect to see happen here tonight?
I'm honestly expecting to see a bit of changes in these picks and bans just to kind of keep Beery from doing what he wants to do. Now, we do see the Torch ban and pick back to back on the side of Her Champion. I guess they really want to play this Torch. They said, hey, y'all can go ahead and ban out our Iron Man even if you wanted to. We're going to play something else that's going to fly in the sky and make you try to take us out. I do think that you should get to see definitely the Iron Man ban and just honestly maybe ban out the tanks. Make these tanks kind of play something differently. Maybe don't let the Venom come through. Maybe not even the Strange. But honestly, I'm not 100% sure what else that this team can pull together, except for maybe just trying to work a bit harder together and just trying to be more coordinated in their fights.
Yeah, that's definitely the thing that I'm going to be looking for. We saw a few signs of life from their tank line, but I'm hoping to see that as we get into the second map. I'm hoping to see some more signs of life from the rest of their team. They definitely have a ton of opportunities to do something that would be pretty amazing, but we will only know once we get into it.
That is very true. And so we do see the Iron Man ban coming out. I'm very curious what they banned second there, right after that Protect, but I guess we'll never know. And honestly, I think Her Champion is just going to probably stick to their guns, run the Torch, run the Jeff, probably run that triple support again. And I'm very curious to see what's going to change, especially with this being a more open map, being on the Convergent side and no longer that little brawly map domination. I am very curious to see if we're going to see another portal trick, but I don't really think so. What do you think?
I don't know if I would see the portal trick come through. We did see it a lot in our first series, and we did see it happen a lot in that first map, so it is actually highly possible, but it's hard to know for sure, especially now as we see the Hela Protect come out as well. This is going to be a very interesting lineup here between these two teams. We're seeing a couple of different similarities as well as a couple of major differences, so I'm excited to see what these teams are going to cook up here.
I am too, and we do see a new faces on the side of the Her Champion with this newest team up coming through on the Groot and Loki with the Mantis as the anchor, allowing Groot to have a fourth wall and just being able to heal, like do little mantis leaves around the area, and then Loki's runes now being upgraded to a bigger circle and allowing a damage buff. Now we will see him switch off of the Groot on the side of her champion, so we will not see that anymore. We still do see a Groot on the side of Underworld, but I'm very surprised that we're not going to see one on the side of her champion.
Yeah, I'm definitely surprised to see that. I do believe our names right now are flipped a little bit. Her champion is actually on the red, which is going to be a little bit, is going to throw me off a little bit, but that's okay. The only reason I know that, oh, never mind, it's fixed now. Great. Shoutouts to our production for getting that fixed right off the bat. But here we go. We are getting this matchup started here. Her champion only one map away from taking the series with Underworld and on their back foot, needing the reverse sweep. And it all begins here and now. The pokes are going to come through right away. And we'll see what these teams can cook up here. First fight, nothing to be seen just yet. Just a lot of pokes back and forth. And we might be looking for the first fight maybe a little bit later than what I would be expecting right away.
That is very true. We do see some new faces on some new picks on the side of Underworld, where Mercus is now on this tank as well as Fallen, and you see Inspector Wolf on the support. Now we do see two picks coming out from the side of her champion onto Underworld, just being able to kind of take over this point with this Groot walls and flying Human Torch, just having control of the entire point.
It doesn't matter what champion Beery is going to be playing on. He is just going to be this absolutely crazy flyer here. As her champion, they win the one fight. Now they get the control. Now it is up to them to escort their payload. Something we didn't see in the first matchup here, as it was a very dominant defense out of KC. But now here it is going to be her champion on the offensive side. Things are going to be moving pretty steadily so far. Underworld are going to be looking for some sort of combatants, as we do see Mercus on the Emma Frost getting a little bit of poke in, but that's going to be a huge pick from Hammerhead to get one of the supports out. This could be the go button for the rest of her champion, but they're just going to continue to keep the stall going. Never mind, that's another kill to be seen as Phoenix is going to go down, and this is going to be a brutal fight here for her champion. The Phoenix ult is going to come through, does find Beery. That's going to be a huge trade. If you are Underworld, they might be able to take advantage of this to make something happen across the map, but Fallen is going to go down, so that is going to be one more tank down and out, and her champion are going to keep everything moving.
That is very true. Just her champion able to kind of push this cart continuously while just being able to hold so much more space with these two DPS on this Widow and this Human Torch, while this Captain America is once again, even in game set number 2, just running around, messing with this backline, not letting them do anything fun. Just making sure they have a very rough time playing this game.
They really are not going to be able to play the game how they want. The first checkpoint is going to be grabbed by her champion. They're going to continue to keep things moving. They've already hit 30 meters, and Fallen does get taken down, attempting to make something happen with the portal, but it doesn't end up working, unfortunately. And now it is going to be her champion continuing the onslaught. The poor raccoon gets sent back home as Sir Ionicus gets destroyed. And now the rest of her champion continue to show their strength, and Cabron is going to be forced away, is going to get chased out here by Mercus, but does manage to escape with his life. The Emma Frost ultimate is going to be the first ultimate to pop. Rocket is going to pop their ultimate as well. It is going to be 2 for 2 on the side of ultimates. Groot's ultimate is going to come out. So does Mantis. This is so much ultimates back and forth, but nobody goes down. Nobody takes damage really at all, as everything just kind of gets canceled out from Sue Storm. But that's a huge Eye of Agamotto from Beery to take down 3, make it a full team wipe, and her champion find the timing, and they are going to look to send this one packing.
That is very true. Honestly, it just seems like no matter what Beery is on, he is just able to maintain and control no matter what. Honestly, I don't know what Underworld can change here, because it just seems like her champion is just able to pick whatever they want and just control and do whatever they want.
It'll be interesting to see how Underworld are going to strike back on their own attack. Her champion just had so much strength in that first round. They had 4 minutes and 5 seconds remaining on their timer, so that will make things probably a little bit more difficult for Underworld as they get ready to go into their own attack. I personally, I think this is going to be a very difficult hill for them to climb. They have a crazy reverse sweep that they have to make happen here. It's certainly not impossible, but in terms of miracles, this is going to be a difficult one as her champion are just looking dominant.
That is very true. This is just going to be like that old story of pushing that boulder up the hill, but each step that they try to get up that hill is just going to be one more pick at a time. If they're able to get one, then they can get two. If they can get two, they can hopefully get three, and then hopefully at some point they can get that point. And just start this payload pushing up that mountain until they reach the peak and hopefully take over this match.
And this will be the moment for them to make it happen. I'm sure the nerves are kicking in as the final 15 seconds for this round are going to count down before the round begins. Her champion have been dominant. They have shown their strength. Underworld are sitting here, the new dogs in the kennel. Will they be able to fight back and make a run for the alpha, or will her champion just show their own strength? Only time will tell. Underworld now on the attack, but it's going to be a quick and easy jump for Beery as the Human Torch is going to get so much damage right off the bat, forcing Underworld back right away. Fallen is going to be playing on the Star-Lord right now. They're currently running multiple DPSs. They're running 3 healers, 2 DPSs, and 1 tank. So we'll see if this strategy will work out for them or if it will just send them packing. A lot of power is going to come through. Nobody going down just yet. Excel is going to get brought very, very low, but it is going to be Madsen going down first. That's going to be the first kill to be found for her champion as the defense is going to pick up a good trade onto Beery, but that's 2 more kills. Make it 3 into the feed for her champion. Beautiful defense to open up this round.
And that is very true. This Hawkeye pick is just being able to do whatever he wants and just get picks here and there while Beery is able to fly around on the torch. We do see a switch onto the Strange. So we do see a triple tank comp coming out of her champion on this defensive side. I'm very interested to see what Underworld will switch up and maybe potentially run instead to kind of take over this comp and just do whatever they want. We do see the portal coming in from Beery. Instead of just walking over the point, I guess he really wanted to get back to the point very quickly so he could fight some more.
Uses that portal to make the fight break out again. Excel is going to get brought very, very low as the fight breaks out. Nothing to be seen just yet so far. Madsen is actually going to be the first one to fall. Mercus is going to be brought very, very low, trying to escape with his life, but it's not going to happen as he goes down. Inspector Wolf is the next one to go down. That's going to be multiple kills in the feed for her champion. They don't even have to burn any ultimates to get the fights that they want, as that will be her champion continuing to show their strength, showing their dominance. And with 2 minutes to go, Underworld need to make something happen if they want to keep this series alive.
That is very true. Now we see 6 ults on the side, 5 ults on the side of Underworld, 5 ults on the side of her champion. All the support ults on the side of Underworld, especially this Rocket ult coming out here, hoping to take control and just being able to do a lot more damage. Mantis ult trying to match, as well as a massive Agamotto coming out of the side of her champion. Just getting 5 and just taking them out one by one. What do you think's gonna happen here?
And Beery with that Eye of Agamotto dismantles the line of Underworld. So many people are dead. The respawns are starting to come through, but as the fight continues to happen, oh wait, never mind, that's a revive that comes through, but it's going to be turned around, met with once again more and more death to the Underworld, as they are sent back to their spawn, and that is her champion continuing to dominate this series. They look absolutely unkillable. Her champion trying to put that final nail in the coffin with 45 seconds to go. Underworld do not have time to play around. This is going to be Fallen jumping in as a Wolverine, but oh my days, they're gone. They're deleted. That was the fastest team wipe we have seen tonight. Holy cow, her champion. Go take a shower. Y'all are disgusting.
That is very true. Honestly, it just seems like it's just clip farm after clip farm, 6-man after 6-man on the side of her champion. Just massive ults coming through, especially the follow-ups from his teammates. You can definitely tell the trust that these two tanks have, that when they throw their ults or use their ults, they know they're going to have things coming back for and just helping them to actually get all the kills. We do see an Agamotto on the side of Underworld trying to see if they could do anything, but unfortunately that will be the end of map number 2. Her champion taking this set. I was entirely wrong. 2-0 in the side of her champion.
And her champion just show absolute dominance. They looked absolutely undefeatable in this series, putting out so much damage, doing everything right. If you know, on the same side of what we saw from KC Misfits, if you're her champion, you cannot be asking for a better season debut here at the Liberty Rivals League. We are seeing two very strong teams making their debut between KC Misfits and her champion. They're going to be looking really, really strong, both starting out 1-0. But if you are Underworld and Maximum Efforts, you've got a lot to look at, a lot to learn from, and I'm excited to see how these two teams specifically are going to continue to progress throughout the season. Because yes, you are seeing these teams get absolutely just steamrolled to start off their season. However, there is a lot of the season left. There's a lot of opportunities for these two teams to make changes, make improvements, and to show these two teams that what happened tonight was only the beginning and that they are going to give them a run for their money as we get closer and closer to playoffs.
That is massively true, and I'm very excited to see what each of these teams are going to take from this set. Are they going to wallow in their misery and just say, okay, I don't know what we can do in the future, I think this just might be a bad thing, might be a bad season, or are they going to take it on the chin and just be able to move forward and learn from these mistakes, learn what they can improve on, learn their strong suits, and learn to get better to hopefully beat them next time. I'm very excited to see the two different teams facing each other, whether that be Maximum Experience or the as well as the two teams that played in this set, where you have Underworld versus Maximum Effort, and just seeing what those two teams that lost this time, what they can improve on, and just what they can do, maybe even against each other, and just see which one of those teams are going to take the better spot, or which of these two teams, Misfits and her champion, who is going to be the top dog in this league, and just who is going to take it running.
Absolutely, but only time will tell. And with that, that's going to do it for our matches here tonight. But we do have more Liberty Rivals League action coming up tomorrow. Let's go ahead and get that schedule up so you guys can see the two teams we have facing each other. The last two teams in the league to make their debut, Philadelphia Warhawks, are going to be going up against the West Plains Vanguard at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. You definitely are going to want to be here for it. I, unfortunately, will not be here for it, but it is still going to be an absolutely incredible matchup as we see the final two teams to make their debut. And as we look into the rest of the season, we've seen two very strong competitors show up and two underdogs make themselves known. And only time will tell if these stories will hold true, and you will only know right here at the Liberty Rivals League.